As we explored a locked bedroom in the creaking mansion of White Knight, we found a crucifix-shaped peephole concealed behind a painting. We sighed and peered through, a creeping suspicion lurking in our mind that there was sure to be something spooky on the other side. Sure enough, a ghost burst into view, screaming through the opening. We flinched a little and frowned. Survival horror is a difficult genre to develop for because scaring a player often relies on cliché tactics. Haunting music, limited light, and eventually jump scares. True, White Knight has no combat, which is often the worst part of horror titles, but it definitely relies too heavily on cheap scare tactics sometimes. The ghost in the peephole had been the third such sudden apparition to burst into view in 20 minutes or so. That's not to say that the game is all shock value. There's a dense, oppressive atmosphere of terror hounding your every step in White Knight. As an unnamed man injured in a car crash, you stumble around an abandoned 30s house, a clear homage to the setting of heavy-hitting predecessors like Alone in the Dark and Resident Evil. Exploring new areas is tense, fearful stuff as you hesitantly slip from room to abandoned room, eyes peeled for the telltale grey fuzz of a sharp-clawed apparition waiting in a darkened alcove. The monochrome visual style is impactful, and Awesome Studios can be applauded for the boldness of their lighting system. By throwing most of the game world into pitch-black shadow, you're forced to rely on sputtering matches to guide your path, lest you fall victim to prowling spectres. Matchboxes can be found here and there, but you'll never be quite comfortable when roaming out of the sharp pools of light cast by light bulbs or fires. When the game's usually fixed cameras play ball, this duality of light and darkness works excellently, giving the game a real sense of danger. However, there are plenty of occasions in which the old-school perspective shows its age. Running from a ghost, controller shaking wildly, you'll pitch headlong through a doorway in search of light, only to have the camera flip 180 degrees, sending your limping PI right back into the jaws of your pursuer. Needless to say, this is incredibly annoying. It's a real pity because the game's environments are well detailed, immersively decorated with the traditional survival horror set dressing of abandoned journals and photographs scattered around as if the mansion's inhabitants had had a deep-set phobia of filing cabinets. The layout of the house is clear once you get hold of a map, but from the constantly flipping viewpoint, it's easy to get turned around in the dark. Of course, you can argue that getting hopelessly lost is a key part of why darkness is scary, but it doesn't change the fact that being unable to see your character on screen isn't much fun. Stick with White Knight through its foibles, however, and there's a stylish, classic horror story to be uncovered, told with heavy brushstrokes of mysticism and murder. The narrative requires a little digging to piece together, so this isn't the game for those of you who like a spoon-fed adventure, but when you get into the body of it, it's strong writing. While not a perfect game, we definitely call White Knight a satisfying experience. The constant hunt for light is thematically rich, and while it's easy to brush this aside as a simplistic feature, it adds a huge amount to the game's flavour, sucking you into the mindset of a lone survivor lost in the darkness. With a little refinement to the camera angles and the confidence to avoid relying so much on instantly lethal ghost encounters, this could have been a classic of the genre. As it is, however, White Knight ends up much like its title, a creature of extremes. There's a diamond here, but it's hidden in the shadows.
This video has been brought to you by Jinx TV. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and check out these other videos. Also, if you want to see more of our shows, check out our website, jinx.tv.